I write to you from a village where hope has withered. The streets are draped in mourning, the doors sealed shut. This is no life but a chronicle of demise. In the village square, the blacksmith's forge still burned. His hammer rang out, each strike a stubborn echo, as if resisting the catastrophe that crept closer. The people gathered around the fire, whispering of the plague. Even the crackling warmth of the wood could not drive away their dread. The shadows only clung tighter to one another. Soldiers patrolled the streets, yet their eyes betrayed unease. Silence of the bells hung over the village like a shroud. That night I withdrew to my chamber. On the first page of my journal I wrote, "Fever and cough have seized the village." The ink trembled, as if even the words themselves struggled to keep pace within these dark days. On my desk, the medicine bottle stood empty. Beyond the glass, the void reflected my helplessness. Some doors had been boarded shut. From within came muffled groans. The villagers tried to hide death, but the walls could not contain the whispers. In the dark there was but one light, a woman carrying a lantern, moving through the narrow alleys. Each step echoed against stone walls, turning the silence into something even more terrifying. I wrote again. Symptoms spread swiftly, no cure in sight. Day after day, the same sufferings, the same deaths. The pages grew heavier. Every line felt carved into a tombstone. My hand shook upon the pen. From my lips escaped a question. Has God abandoned us? No answer came. Silence itself felt like the only reply, carrying the echo of despair. In the empty market, the bells tolled. Their sound spread over the village like a heavy shadow. The murmur of crowds was gone. Only the metallic echo of loss remained. Through the window I saw the blacksmith. He still swung his hammer, though no one watched. The sound filled not the village, but the hollow rhythm of fear echoing through stone streets. I wrote, "Every house holds the sick." With each passing day, the journal weighed more. Each line turned into a farewell. Words hardened into death notice. The woman with the lantern moved on through the streets. She tried doors, but silence met her every time. The people had imprisoned themselves. Fear had become the village's heaviest chain. A soldier patrolled. I counted his steps. Then the street fell still, as if the village's heart had stopped. I drank from the cup on my desk, then returned to the page. Today I lost a young patient. Neither bloodletting nor herbs could save him. Perhaps centuries from now, a cure will be found. I watched soldiers gather in the square. Shields in hand, they prepared for an enemy unseen. As these thoughts consumed me, I saw her again. She lifted her lantern, testing doors. That she dared remain in the streets, despite the terror, struck me as a strange kind of courage. Beneath my mask, my breath grew heavy. Perhaps the sickness would claim me too. Yet without the mask, I dared not approach another soul. That night I did not open the journal. I was only lost in thoughts. We do not know the root of this plague. Perhaps centuries from now, it will be comprehensible. Today, news came of a woman giving birth. Her husband had died of the plague. I had written down hundreds of losses, but this sight silenced me. For the first time, my pen refused to move. She pressed the infant to her chest. That small cry was proof that life still struggled to resist. Yet death still ruled the room. The image burned into me. Tomorrow will bring new losses in other homes. This mother and child may endure or vanish. All I can do is bear witness. From my window I looked upon the village. The chimneys were cold, the streets deserted. The square, once full of voices, was now a grave of silence. The plague had stolen the village's very soul. The patient I was called to today died before I could arrive. His family looked to me, expecting a miracle, but I had none to give. Helplessness weighed upon us all. Still, the blacksmith's forge burned, the hammers struck, though none remained to watch. The sound filled only the empty streets. At dusk I saw the lantern woman again. This time she did not knock at doors, nor did she hurry. For the first time I saw her face. The villagers said she was a writer of renown. That night was different. Instead of knocking, she walked quietly to the center. In her hands a journal she was writing. Perhaps like me, she was recording the catastrophe. At last the forge went dark. The hammer fell silent. The village's true silence revealed itself. This morning, for the first time, I stepped outside without my mask. Even breathing felt an act of courage. In the street, the only living creature was a starving dog, yet even it fled from me. At the market, one stall remained. An old woman tried to sell her last loaves of bread. No one came. Money had lost all meaning. Survival was the only currency. Half my journal was full. Every page a loss, every line a farewell. The ink was running low, but there was still too much to write. Future generations must know this darkness. The soldiers dwindled, some fell ill, others fled. Those who remained no longer patrolled. They only tried to save themselves. At the door of a grand house, a white cloth fluttered. It marked death. From inside came cries that pierced even the thick walls. Another family erased. For the first time I met her eyes, the woman with the lantern. From beneath her mask, her gaze shone. She lowered her head in greeting. I understood then. We fought the same enemy, though by different means. The path to the church was blocked. Stones and rotting beams sealed it away from the world. Even the house of God was no longer safe. Faith had withered. That night I dreamed of the dead. They were not angry. You did all you could, they told me. Yet when I woke, guilt clung to me. I should have done more. No one drew water from the well. Perhaps it was the plague's source. Each day, the people were forced to choose between thirst and disease. The last medicine bottle on my desk ran dry. I had nothing left to give. My hands were empty, my heart heavy. Was this what it meant to be a doctor, to watch helplessness? Scraps of books scattered in the wind. Someone had burned their library. Even knowledge was seen as dangerous now. Ignorance had become a refuge. The village square lay deserted, the bells had fallen silent. The wind struck against stone. Once a place of gathering, it had become the grave of silence. In a small hut, a young man plucked a stringed instrument. His voice was faint but stubborn. Amid death, still a song echoed, the last defiance of life. Hearing it, I wrote, "Even on the darkest day, music reminds us of breath." But my pen grew heavy, even words struggled to endure. That night I saw the woman again. The lantern was gone. In her hands a thick journal, pages whipped in the wind, spilling her words into the darkness as though writing against silence itself. I heard the last soldier's horse fade into the mist. There was no one left to protect us. The village was abandoned to its own fear. From my window I saw her. She wrote quickly into the thick journal. Then I understood. I was recording the sickness, she, the people. We were two sides of the same story. By morning, news came of the blacksmith's death. He was found at his forge, hammer in hand. With his last breath, he drove the final nail into the village's coffin. Now there were two journals on my desk. One counted the dead, the other told of the living. I placed them side by side. Neither alone could tell the truth. Only together could the story be whole. At sunrise I wrote the final line. The plague took our village, but not our story. These words will remain, the last gift from the living to the dead.